is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andy, Cheryl, Chris, Marius, Micah, Shane, all my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to all of you as well. We got Clarice, Jeffrey, David. Good morning to Brian. Yeah, we got kind of a little mixed market. Little mixed market. Keep in mind it is the last day of the month. Pretty bullish month. So as long as there's a lot of people sitting in the bullish direction of things, they're doing well. Do they have to push it? Probably not. Probably not today. I would assume they don't have to get too crazy. They have the opportunity to lock some gains, have an extended weekend. So we'll see if the volume's a little bit lighter today. We will see. Otherwise, we do have a little bit of a gap down, kind of into a key spot. Problem is we hit this one Thursday already, so this is a spot that's been retested. And I guess it kind of depends on where we open. So I got my support sitting somewhere around 570.03. So we're at 570.07. I think we have Carnival coming out with some earnings. Not sure if that's going to move the market at all, but maybe some sentiment could possibly change based on that. Who knows? Otherwise, we'll see where this market actually wants to open. So I'm looking for anything really above below 570. That would be an indicator for me to go lean a little bit to the short side, somewhere down to next spot, 569.38. That one's already been messed with. You got this one down here, which is 568.07. That's already been messed with. So if we start losing some, we could get some bigger pullbacks. The next one that has not really been retested ever is 563.11. So not saying that's going to happen today. That'd be quite the move. We've seen some crazy things happen, but that would be my next target down if we cannot hold. But we do have a bunch of support in here. Resistance to the higher side. We probably have to look at Tuesday's candle. So the first resistance I'd want to get above is somewhere around 570.63, and then the next target up would be 571.42. This is a retest gap into support, so maybe we could get that fade at open. Last night was a little wild. I was just checking futures. As soon as the market opened, it was green, and then I looked like 2 hours later, it was red, and somewhere around like 1 in the morning, it was green again. So it was kind of all over the place. So we'll see. We'll see if this support wants to hold that open, get us a little bit of a rally, and then we'll see how the end of the day kind of plays off. If people would like to take some gains or not. Let's take a look at Qs. Qs. Kind of just chilling. I would like to see an open somewhere above 485.87. So we're a little bit to the southbound side of that one. The next support that comes in would take us to 485.04. There was a little bit of divergence too from Qs and SPY for at least the beginning portion of the day, and then I think it's kind of a battle of which way the SPY win or Qs win, and Qs kind of took the trophy home. They took the SPY down with it, but next support we do have a little bit lower, still kind of a retest gap, but I don't think this is going to be a huge move in a bullish retest direction. That's 485.97, and then again to the downside that's 485. We'll just call it 485 flat, but a couple pennies higher than that. Next one after that is 484.46, so a little bit more room to retest. And then the one that has not been retested over here is 482.78, and then down to like 482.26. So there's definitely some room to the downside. We could see a little pullback. SPY is the only thing kind of holding in for some kind of support. Or maybe we get a decent bounce first. Yep. If you guys got tickers, let me know. But K-Web, the first one I see. It's gonna move with China. Yep, all the Chinese stocks still just grinding higher. I don't know if grinding it's more of like a zero resistance path northbound on every single Chinese stock, but yeah, this one looks good. We do have probably one little resistance kind of coming in. I wouldn't even say this is the big one, but spot to look. I think if we could start clearing 35.94, this one probably continues higher. It's got some room to 37. And I'm talking day trading. Otherwise, swing trading a little bit longer term, it does look like it's already kind of broken out. This is a retest gap for today, so maybe that resistance holds up and we get some kind of a pullback. But watch that, what do we say, 35 and change, 35.90 zone. If we start breaking out of that, I think we could probably get some continued push. That being said, I did see Baba was up like $5 this morning as well. So Baba has a nice little decent gap. Over $5 at this point. I think in the overnight session it was trading around like 116. I think 120 is a decent place for this one, but again, it is a little bit of a retest. The Chinese stocks work a little differently because they're trading on the Hong Kong market. We're just playing the ADRs. So the gaps work a little bit differently on some of these names. That being said, I'd still kind of want to see some type of a pullback. Looks like I got some volume in here, so I think anything that kind of breaks above 113.25 gives us a little bit further of a push. We get to 115. There's not an over crazy amount of volume on some of these things. And then anything below probably 111.18 would get us into this 109.14 zone and almost probably a decent spot for that pullback. So we'll see how this one wants to play out, but everything still looks a little bit longer term bullish. Again, the only thing I'd be concerned about with just jumping in to something like Baba, Baidu's probably the same thing, JD's probably about the same thing. You're getting already a decent move on a lot of these things at open. So if anybody is in this thing for a trade and you were getting in at $79, $80, I mean, this is one heck of a week or two. And now you're getting this gap up again. So let's see if profits come in. If people want to take some gains, but it does look like it probably continues bullish a little bit longer term. I think we could at this point, and I think we said somewhere around that 111 zone was probably targets for uh if Baba was going crazy on Friday, we'd probably be looking at that 111 zone. Well, we broke through it, so next spot to me is somewhere up in that 120 spot. So we have some room, and then just how do we get there's the question. All right, we got BMY. BMY. We're still in this big volume area. So we got to clear out of that. So our confirmation really comes in at 53.14. Uh, for right now, it's just chilling. It's still an inside day. So I think if you do want to get into this swing, and it does have a nice move. So nice little rounded bottom, little almost flag pennant pattern. We did have a gap up on Friday that came back for a retest. Today we're opening inside, so I think the better move, be patient. Be patient. See if you want to try to play it and you're trying to find a spot, I'd be looking for like 51.12, so not too far away, but it does look decent. And yeah, good volume on, there was no earnings, right? Yep. So good volume on Friday, all things considered. Let me see if I can get the higher pricing. And then I guess again, my higher target for today at least would be 53.02. And then I think if we could break out of that longer term, we're looking at like 56.63, something in that zone would be your next target, but looks decent. I see Amazon, AMZN. Amazon, a little bit of a gap down. They've been struggling a little bit last couple days. So yeah, this is our fourth red day in a row. For what it's worth, they did have a pretty monster move. Let me see if I get some fibs on this one. I mean, you're running up from 171 to 195 without really any pullbacks. So the 50% retracement, that's going to sit at 183.28. And then a little bit lower is the 618. That's 180.41. So we'll see if any of those zones want to hold. First spot of support for today. And again, the fibs on a daily, this is going to be a little bit longer term. So, but fibs on a daily, you got your 38% retracement somewhere at 186.15. I can see some kind of a bounce spot there. You are opening into a little bit of support too. And it is a retest gap. So I would think it's tough to go bullish on this one right now because we are still up there. You're gonna have your 20 EMA coming in, some kind of support around 186. So could be a decent bounce spot. We know the 32% retracement is right in the zone, and you got good support. I guess the closest you could get probably to 186.48 is your best shot if you're trying to go long on it. Otherwise, it does look a little bit more to the short side. And if you like it short, you're probably waiting for some kind of bounce into 187.98. See how it wants to react there. And then maybe the second time through, we could break through some of this for the short side. But I don't think the short's easy here. I don't think the long is easy here, too. You don't have a lot of range in either direction. But I think this one probably longer term has to, it doesn't have to, but I'd be okay pulling back into that, at least that 50 to really go long on something like Amazon. We got broskies, brown and brown. Pre-market not doing anything, so kind of just hanging out. Not a good edge either direction on this one as well. Longer term, nice uptrends. Pretty fantastic uptrend for today. High volume zone, inside candle. Again, on this one, right now, we probably have some kind of resistance up here. This 104. And then we got support somewhere around probably 101-ish. So if you're playing that channel, you're going short here. You're probably going to try to go long here. So this doesn't gives you probably a little bit more risk or a little bit more reward to the bear side than to the bull side. But if we do get a bounce, I'll be looking for some kind of short around here if you're going to just kind of play this channel back and forth until you get that break one way or the other and then kind of moves out. Oh, let's see what else we got. There's a gap a few weeks ago on bros. Yeah, this one right here. Yeah, so if you're looking for a gap fill, you look for like 93, but there's gonna be this is definitely a massively bullish. I mean, you got a good double top. You're already kind of high up there, but that's a pretty impressive gap up on that one. And we seem to be trying to put in a little bit of support around this 170 zone, I guess. So unless this breaks down here, it looks like it's just channel trading for now. Will it fill? I don't know. I'm sure at some point, in some point in time, but I don't know that it has to be yet. And then you're going to be fighting if you're going to take this short. You're fighting those moving averages. You're fighting all those levels. So it's just not going to be the easiest short. Where it's going to be a quick flush until you start breaking this. I have like 99.59. So if we start breaking down that zone, maybe that double bottom, you could probably get a really nice setup to look for that gap fill. But in general, that type of gap will be a little bit tougher to fill. CCL just released. Let's see how they're reacting. I don't have the numbers yet, so if you want to just post the numbers if anybody has them right now, they're taking a little bit of a hit. They're just figuring out life. We'll check back on them. But a little bit of movement. Lucia got AAPL. Good gap up. We got one level of resistance. I don't know, Lucian. I don't know. I think this spot's going to be key on this one. This is 230.36. It is a gap and go, kind of. That's a red candle, kind of gapped up inside, just came back for the retest. I'd go long with you if we could get somewhere above this 230.40 zone. But even with that, you got 231.90. You do have a down market today so far, at least. Even though I mean, this is a red candle. I kind of want to play the fade on this one. But even with the fade, it's again, it's not that much. It's not a huge range. I'd probably be only looking to play this fade to like $28. $28. $228. If I could get there, and I'm gonna get stuck somewhere around 228.97, two on the short side of things. But it is gapping up, which is different than a lot of things. So we'll leave it on the list. But I want that 230.40 to really break, and then even to the upside, we got 231.90. It's not going to give us huge range. AMD. AMD, I believe, was gapping down a little bit. Let me take some lines off. We'll check NVIDIA too. This one, I wouldn't mind trying to play the fade. So far, and it's not a huge range, but so far you got a gap down, retest gap, kind of a retest gap too. But you have good support. So this is a red candle. Obviously, anybody that took this short, this gap down, they might want to lock some profits. This could be a fade up until like 164.75. So it's got a decent range if this thing wants to hold this support, and then we kind of bounce a little bit from here. Why I say kind of, this is all still inside day of this gap up. So if this thing breaks down though, if we do have 162.35 break, you actually have a decent amount of room to the downside as well, 158.20. So let's see if we can get a high wave candle on this one. I'll watch it. I don't want to jump in before the bell on that one, but it's not bad. Shopify, it's got at least a couple bucks in it. We got shop is chilling as well. So we still have support, and everything's into some kind of support resistance today. AMD I think was the biggest range that I saw, the better opportunity. Otherwise 78, 75, if that starts to break, then you have a really good trade to the downside. Otherwise, you're kind of you are gapping down a little bit. It's nothing huge. It is a retest gap. I think if you want to come in with a short, if you do want to attempt to short shop, the closer you get to 79.85 would be the spot that I'd be looking for. And then you're just hoping that this 78.78 could break down. 78.70, something like that. But that would get you really good room into 76.27. I'd probably be out there, but you do have a little bit more on that one, 75.43. So we'll see if that wants to play out. Why do I feel like today is a big chop day? Out of everything we looked at so far, why is my chop door going off? Tessie. Tessie, a little bit of a gap down. You do have your resistance. So see if you get this one to be bought up out of the gate. I would be looking for maybe like 258.47 as an entry for the short side. Then you could throw your stops probably above Friday's candle, which would be somewhere around 260.91. Again, not going to be. I don't know. This one actually might be decent. Friday at least did come in. We've already retested this 256.05, which is our first support. We did already get down to 254.05. That's our next support, or got close to it at least. And then next target down would be 252.73. If for some reason that breaks, so the market's looking ugly at that point, next next target down will be this 248.15. But it is still inside day, still chopping around. Best spot to if you want to go long, you're looking for anything past 258.60, and then probably then you're definitely looking for that kind of breakout of Friday to even make that risk reward in a bull direction kind of worth it. Let me check out NVIDIA real quick. And I see a bunch on YouTube as well. Yeah, Delta was moving crazy on Friday. I don't know. At least when I was looking at it, kept looking like it was trying to break out. What was that? I don't know. Maybe that was Thursday. I forget. We got Nvidia, so that one's a decent gap down too. This is also a retest gap. I don't know that we retest the VPOC from Friday unless this market goes bullish. So if this market does want to start rallying, then I'd be looking for this 120.47. Otherwise, I think I got some pretty dominant resistance on this one, 119.05, and then you got 119.61. Room to the downside. So if we get that bounce first, great. We could get that. We're right at the 20. 20 EMA at open. Otherwise, target really good support. Should be somewhere around 116.44 with I got one more hanging out this 114.79. So still a little bit in this longer term chop as well. DAL. Delta Airlines. This one does have some room. I agree with you, Lucian. Yep. That one would be interesting. We might only get room to the downside to this 50.76. If that could break, I would be looking for probably 49.67, which that by itself is a good trade. And then you don't really have the VPOC till 48.81. I would love for this one to retest. So if we could get as short as possible, not as short as possible, you just sell your house, get a loan, lendingclub.com. We could get as short as possible. But if we could get as close as possible to 51, 52, I think we have really good risk to reward on this one. That is one to look at. I'm going to put that one pretty high on the list. Can I look at MSTR? Micro strategies. So crypto had a decent weekend. Wasn't a bad weekend for crypto. Coming into today, we are currently having a little bit of a sell-off. That's going to affect it. Really good support on this one, 165.23, but we got to look at the underlying asset, which would be the biddy. And Bitcoin did have so far on this morning, we got the bounce off of a key support, so 63,464. Maybe we want to come up from here. Otherwise, today's VPOC, and that's going to shift, but today's VPOC is 64,595. And if we get a decent rally off that volume zone, 65,135 would be target. But we'll see. And then anything underneath, well, this spot would be key, 63,398. Last chance of support, which takes us to the 20. So there's a decent amount of support on this one. We start crumbling through 62,938. I think we get a bigger pullback. Let's pull up MicroStrategy one more time. Again, it is a gap and go. So that would be bearish. Target doesn't get us that far. 165. It's still going to give us about $4 to the downside. So maybe look for a quick move on this one. Quick move out of the gate if you want to try to play it. And then after that, you're just watching kind of Bitcoin. Golds. Which gold do you want to do? GLD? Gold pulling back a little bit. And then let me know what silver you want to do. You want to do SLV. But otherwise, yeah, gold's pulling back a little bit against retest gap. So if you're trying to go short on it, you're trying to be a little patient, try to come in somewhere close to like 244.49. And then to the downside, you got like 242.69. So again, not a huge range, but that is a gap down. You're trying to wait for that retest and then probably run with it. Yeah, I would imagine silver is probably about the same. Silver gapping down into support. This is also a retest gap. You're still in this bullish candle. This one probably gets bought up at open, I would assume. And you're looking for like 28.82 to make your decision if you want to go short from there. We start breaking out of that. Be cautious, but you have your next resistance at 29.03. MU. MU. You dirty dog, MU. There's a gap to fill. Key support on this one for now, kind of our last hope, is right where we're sitting, 106.37. Also a retest gap. Maybe we could wait for this thing to retest. If this thing opens, we get some closing, or we get a green candle even. First 3-minute candle's green. We could try to go short under it. The next spot down would take us to 104.35, and then we got like 102. So we have some range in this one. Let's get this one a little higher. Oh, volume, volume, volume. Yeah. I like it as a short. Back down to this 97.65. I don't know about today, but that would be a decent. It's got room. It's got room. It doesn't have a lot to hold us back. Kind of like it to the short side. But again, probably out of the gate, see if there's a little retest that comes in. Visa, there's been a lot of I think headlines around Visa. Nancy Pelosi apparently sold her just because she was probably reading the charts or Fibonacci's, or she has maybe different technicals that I don't have, but she was selling hers right before some kind of investigation started, I believe, into Visa. So I don't know, but that was good timing. I don't know how she does it. She's so good. But otherwise, inside day on Visa, nothing too crazy. You got close to that 200, so there's going to be some people probably interested in buying off that. Big resistance on this one, 276.82 to the upside. So maybe if you want to retest yesterday's VPOC, that's 275.93. Probably continue with that direction in the short side for now. And then anything above 276.82-ish, 83-ish, I'd be watching out to see if you're probably going to come back up, fill this gap, 284.77. But yeah, you do have a little bit of resistance right in front of you. AVGO. Same thing, man. Everything looks a little bit retesting. AVGO has some room to the downside. It does move. It's a mover and a shaker. But again, probably not looking to go short out of the gate. And if it does and it just drops, it probably does it without me. Targets on this one would take me to about 170.37. If that breaks, you got good support somewhere around 169.56. Maybe buyers come in at that point. So I think if we're patient, the closer we get to 173, 173.03, I think that at least the better risk reward we have on this one. But it's got some range. What's the volume look like? This is not going to be the easiest short with that volume. But I think we get a couple dollars out of it. All right, I think we got time for one more. Let's see. mRNA. We gotta go COVID. Gotta go the COVID route. Still struggle busing. We did have one good day on Friday. Bigger term trend is down. I think you can short this one probably into targets today, 64.02. And I think you have probably decent risk reward, but stop somewhere above 65.98. Otherwise, everybody out on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But at that bell, that means we got to disconnect. You guys are awesome. Be safe in the markets. And again, don't have to push it. It's only the last day of the month. We do it again next month.